Just yesterday, I went to the Jewish Community Center and hosted a wonderful presentation. Dr. Aaron Carroll, he's from IU, he just wrote, "Don't Swallow Your Gum, Myths, Half-Truths, and Outright Lies About Your Body and Health," with Dr. Rachel Vreeman, who's also out of the pediatric medicine at IU. It is a myth that sugar causes hyperactivity.
This is the one I fight about the most with people.
But cavities?
Sure, and it also can cause obesity. Lots of good reasons not to have sugar, but hyperactivity is not one of them. There have been more randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trials of sugar and kids' behavior than probably almost any drug that's ever been approved by the FDA. More, probably because every time they finish the study and they prove that there's no relationship, the people go, "No way," and they have to do another study. But in the last of them, and the best of them, they gave a whole group of kids a sugar-free beverage.
I liked this.
Then they lied to half the parents and said, "Your kids got sugar."
That's the way to always find out the truth.
Those parents rated their children's behavior as significantly more hyperactive. This myth is entirely in our heads, and we believe it so strongly that we see hyperactivity in our kids when they get sugar, even when there is none. There's also the truth of the matter is that there's lots of other reasons why kids might be hyperactive at times they get sugar. Birthday parties, family gatherings, holidays, or we deprive our kids of candy so much that by the time they finally get the candy, they're so excited that they can't control themselves. That, you know, it has nothing to do with the actual sugar in there. It's just if you deprive them of anything and then finally give it to them, they will be excited.
Teething causes a fever. Now see, after 3 children, every time they would teeth, somebody had, you know, diarrhea, runny nose.
They had the fever, and then you're like, ah, they're teething, and that's why.
Well, if you follow babies over the first year or two of life, they're always teething. I mean, their teeth coming in all the time. So, of course, when you get a fever, it's very likely they will be teething. It doesn't mean one causes the other. And when they've done really well done, what we call cohort studies, where you gather up hundreds, if not thousands of kids, and every time they have fever, you examine them thoroughly, they absolutely showed that there's no association between teething and a fever.
Oh. How about this? A dog's mouth is cleaner than a human's.
I've always heard that, because people let their dogs lick them in the mouth.
Yes,
I mean, they let their dogs lick them in the mouth. Like something about Mary, where she's like,
yeah.
The truth of the matter is that this one is actually partially, again, doctors are to blame. Because the original scientific literature that compared infection rates out of bites found that human bites actually were more likely to be infected with than dog bites. And so people said, human bites are dirtier. Dog bites must be cleaner. And they come up with all kinds of hypotheses about enzymes in dogs' mouths and things like that. The truth of the matter is that the real explanation for that has nothing to do with the animal and everything to do with the mechanism. There's a type of human-on-human bite that occurs only in humans. It's called a clenched fist bite. And that occurs when I punch you in the mouth and you bite down on my hand. So when you remove that one type of injury, which is pretty common in human bite literature, from the studies, and you just look at human bites and dog bites made by the same mechanism, the infection rates are exactly the same. My definition of cleanliness involves not having recently used your mouth as toilet paper or your tongue as toilet. And by that mechanism, human tongues and mouths are much cleaner than dogs, and we should never really.
Or they should be, anyway.
So, everything from your urine should be almost clear to if you pull out a gray hair, 2 will grow back. One about a bee sting is a half-truth. You should get the stinger out if you get stung by a bee. So this was a really wonderful presentation. Yeah.